Well, guys, hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest, Carl Allsopp. Carl, thank you for joining us at this
Thank you for having me, mate.
podcast. Carl is the CEO of a legendary company, Allsopp Allsopp. I want to say that when I joined the industry, we were neighbors of Allsopp Allsopp back in the days, and even back then, like 14 years ago, it was already like a big and noticeable company, and right now you guys are giants, specifically when it comes to the secondary market. So first of all, well done with this job. I want to start our podcast with a little bit more information about you. How did you end up in Dubai back in the days?
2001, I started real estate in the UK. Had 8, 9.
How old were you?
17.
17.
Getting paid 2,500 dirhams a month as a trainee, doing all the rubbish jobs you can think of. I was in that business for 9 years, went through the ranks of selling and valuing properties. They do it in the UK, manager. And Lewis, my business partner, Lewis Allsopp, he's the chairman of Allsopp Allsopp. He also worked in the same company. He joined 2 years after I did. He was actually fired from the same company I was at for not turning up to
But seriously, I'm not surprised. I don't know. I don't lose that much, but I'm not surprised.
No, yeah, exactly. He's a bit of a wild card, Lewis. But Lewis got fired for not showing up for viewings. And anyway, he ended up going to Dubai in early 2006. I was still in real estate in the UK. Lewis, within a space of a couple of years, 2006 was a crazy time in Dubai. You can make a lot of money. He called me one day and said, Carl, I made £70,000. And I said, oh, wow, it's amazing. In a year? And he said, no, in one deal. I was like, wow, that's like half of my yearly salary you made in one deal. And typically, as an older brother, I'm 2 years older than him, sibling pride took over. I thought, I'm not having this. No way. So I moved to Dubai early 2008 to go and join a real estate company. And yeah, I went there. My first day in this real estate company, it was, Carl, there's your laptop, there's your phone. Good luck, hope you do well, sort of thing. I managed to do a deal my second day. Second day, Palm Jumeirah, Waterhome.
Palm Jumeirah.
Yeah, Palm Jumeirah,
What a
Waterhome. Yeah, so it was a decent deal for my first one.
How did you get the buyer?
A lot of luck. I was basically the middleman, if I'm honest with you, between the agent in our office and then connecting with another agent. So I was just ringing anyone and everyone saying, I've got this, I've got someone's interest in this budget, and essentially connected the deal between another broker and our broker in the office. Again, it was a good deal. So I worked on the Palm, in the Palm office. And without saying any bad words about this company, I was there 3 or 4 months, and I said to Lewis, from the background we're from a really regimented, structured environment in the UK. We can do what we've done in the UK so much better than we could have done it. What I can see happen in Dubai. Dubai in 2008 was the wild, wild west. There was no, the bar was very low. Anyone could do anything. There was not a lot of legislation and rules and regulations. So for us, we saw an opportunity to kind of run a proper real estate business.
So may I ask you, Lewis had a career in the real estate, and did he came to Dubai for vacation, or he know that, hey, I want to join in real estate industry over there?
No, he got sacked, let's say Christmas time, basically looking for a job. Opportunistically, this guy said, hi, Lewis looking for a job. He said, Lewis, come and join us in Dubai, you can earn X, Y, Z. Lewis was like, oh, I've just been sacked, I've got nothing to lose. He's gone out to Dubai in the January, so it was quite a short space of time. And Lewis walked into his company. It was in Grosvenor House Business Centre. Lewis said, where's the office? Oh, we're working from the business centre at the moment. Where's your phone lines? Carry on using your UK mobile for the time being. Okay, who do I call? Call these people. So it turns out after a few days, Lewis realised it wasn't a legitimate company. Wasn't actually allowed to trade. Lewis was just turned up into a business centre, and this guy was seeing an opportunity for this young kid to basically see if he can make some money. And luckily, Lewis will always refer back to it. There's a lady called Wendy Stapleton at the time worked at Sherwood's.
And now she's in Iraq?
Yes, she's in Iraq. Yeah, Lewis calls her his guardian angel, because without her, he wouldn't be in Dubai. She swooped in, helped him out in various different ways, and then put him into a company called Sherwood's at the time, and kind of learnt the job there. I think if anyone, even in his early age at 19, Lewis was a nightmare. Then, obviously, different person now, but he's got great education. He's worked with a load of experienced people, and then I joined him a couple of years later from
It's so interesting to join the dots between some people who are in the industry for a long time, like Wendy, and I didn't know that she was related also to you guys. So how, okay, you saw that, the real estate market is not structured here. Same pretty much as right now. We can say that.
Let me tell you now, from 2008 to now, we are worlds ahead, and people might just give you an example. Okay, so to do a contract in 2008, everything was on your own version of a contract. It was not government centralized. I was waiting until 10, 11 o'clock at night for a fax to come through from a client signing contracts. If you wanted to go to RERA, at the time, it was more, you didn't get anything from it. They were more likely to shout at you or tell you off rather than help and resolve things. So, the rest app, the forms, clarity on laws. There is so much that's happening, our time in business that, looking back now, we appreciate how far we've come, because back then, like I say, even passing the RERA test was not particularly difficult.
I remember when the government introduced the Form Fs,
yes,
and they're like, oh, finally.
Yes.
So easy to do right now. Otherwise, each client was asking for the lawyer to go through these things. And
it takes away a lot of friction from deals. People know what to expect, and even not having the REST app, it's just, there's a lot more work to do, though. There's a lot more, and they know that also.
We will touch the tokenization. I believe this part will really solve a lot of problems with the frictions over here, but maybe a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So in 2008, during the crisis, were you already running Allsopp Allsopp, or are you still were the agent in the agency?
June 2008, we set the license up. We had an office in Allsopp Road. So this was 3 months before the Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns all went kaput. The whole world was in a global meltdown. So we took an office in Allsopp Road, big commercial villa, 4,000 square feet. Every single dirham that Lewis and I had went into getting the license, employing people, and then furnishing the villa. To that point, we could only furnish a living room, which was the reception, and 1 room upstairs, which was a sales room. So when people used to come in and have meetings with us, we said, "Oh, come and look at our office. Oh, can we look around the rest of the place?" No, really, sorry, it's renovation at the moment. And as the business grew, we were furnishing different parts of the business. But 2008, let me tell you now, people don't know how lucky they've got it today. Honestly, trying to convince someone to buy in 2008, when every single day the news stories were negative, not just about Dubai, but about the world. I had people in my offices crying, saying, "Get me what you can get." And obviously you've seen all the stories and the pictures of cars and keys left at the airports. That was a real thing, by the way.
Yeah.
So where we are today now, where there's so much good sentiment about Dubai, good stories. To buy a property is a lot safer here as well. People should be very, very appreciative of the time we're in right now.
Just out of curiosity, so during these difficult times, how did you guys manage to survive?
Work every single hour God sends, and I say it sounds so cliche, but I was in the office at 7:30, probably not leaving until 10, 11 o'clock for most days. My now wife, we were very close to splitting up. She never saw me, because when you're running a business, every single dirham that comes in, firstly, you've got to pay the bills for everything, whether it's offices. So we couldn't afford cleaners. I was cleaning the offices before, so was Lewis, cleaning the offices and the cups at the end of the day. So you had to do everything you possibly could do to stay alive and basically be here. Hiring decent people pretty quickly and making sure that they got loads of on-the-job coaching, helping out with deals, going out and meeting with people. We were hustling. We were working every single hour we could.
But was it more rentals or sales?
No, sales. Listen, off. Mostly, we made so much money on Burj Khalifa, like crazy amounts of money on Burj Khalifa, doing floors and with loads of money on.
So somebody where they had to exit, and you were helping them to.
Correct. So bear in mind, 2008, was Burj Khalifa built, or maybe just built, just handed over. Credit notes.
Yeah, credit notes are
a lot of money on credit notes back then. A lot. Palm Jumeirah, obviously, that was anything which was distressed at the time, which was going down, was an opportunity for us to help people exit the market. And the people that were pretty smart, kind of bought in the downwards trend and realised that sometimes it's better to buy when things are going down than when they're on the way up. So really, really hard, really very just disciplined, just very consistent, working 6-7 days a week. People would talk to me now about work-life balance. Listen, when I was setting that business up then, there is no work-life balance. Your life is your work. And, even on my wedding day, so I got married in 2013, so we were 5 years into business, I was releasing staff salaries myself on the wedding day. So, I don't know, coming back to why we survived, two things. Lots of legacy businesses in Dubai, they were downsizing because they were, big firms, their revenues had probably dropped dramatically, so they were downsizing, shrinking office sizes, team sizes. As me and Lewis, it's me against the world mentality. So we were able to grow and hire, and thankfully, touch wood, we are now. But we've been aggressive. It's felt like a long time, by the way. You say we're a big business now, and we are, compared to other businesses in the UAE in real estate. But it's felt a long time getting here, and I've seen a lot of businesses recently that had a lot of success in a short space of time, and it's
and this is what really impressed me about you guys. So somehow you managed to crack the code. So how many employees do you have right now?
636 as of yesterday, and we've got a really aggressive plan in place to have 500 real estate brokers by September 30th this year.
500
real estate brokers.
Mm-hmm.
So and 636 is total headcount.
I got it.
Admin, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and you guys keep on posting that we have another the best months in the history, or the highest number of viewings. Like once I saw the post, you have 2,500 viewings a week.
Yes.
Insane. How many viewings you're...
Let me tell you now, that number should be a lot higher if I could get my guys to use the system perfectly. The number should be higher because really good agents are not great admin people. And not everything I know goes in the system. So we're doing things to try and fix that at the moment. But the number of inquiries that come into our business per week, would frighten you. It would frighten you. But it's just making sure people deal with them properly and realise that if someone's not transacting today, doesn't mean they're not serious. It means they're not ready right now, and it's just making sure that at some point they're updated and they know when to buy, sort of thing.
So it looks like now you became this legacy business, yeah.
Mm.
So how do you prepare yourself, or do you do anything to secure your future to be more resilient, considering that you already know this up and downs that happening on the market?
Yeah, look, the reality is the market is changing. It's not changing as quickly as people think it is, but we're undergoing a really huge project which will allow us to scale our business. We're into Q3 this year, but we're undergoing a big project which will allow us to look at our business beyond a brokerage and more of a platform.
Tell me more about it.
Can't really at the minute.
Okay.
But it's something that we've got days and days worth of scoping meetings at the moment to basically absolutely nail a product which will allow... my belief is, in it from a really good real estate company, I believe that an agent spends too much time doing things they shouldn't be doing. So how can we, as a business, give them back more time and focus on the things that they should be doing, but also making sure that their phone's ringing without the huge amount of... when you start this brokerage job, you have to do a lot of outbound business to try and generate you to get phones. So how can we help you? So the platform will basically give people time back, give people more leads, and ultimately be more attractive to scale our business also.
Back in the days when I was working on the secondary market, I was working in a relatively small company level. There were 20 agents.
Yep.
And we were fighting between 20 agents regarding the areas on which we were going to work.
Yeah.
Hey, don't come to Dubai Marina. I'm already working here. Yeah. Or something like this. But the owner of our company was keep on saying, guys, take a look at Allsopp and Allsopp. That there are a lot of guys that are covering a specific areas. So how do you manage to divide the community between so many agents?
Well, first thing, it is bizarre how many times our name is mentioned in sales meetings. I hear lots oh my God, I hear lots of different things. It's like, I genuinely never talk about other companies. I don't, because it's not disrespectful, because there's a lot of good firms out there and really good individuals. I'm not interested in what they're doing because it doesn't help me, if that makes sense. But coming back to your question, We now these days we now look at data forward, backward looking, so transactional data. So we look at the opportunity of what is our share of market, meaning how many of the total properties sell in a quarter or in a month are Allsopp and Allsopp involved in. So we have access to DLD data, then we measure it against our own data. So we look at the opportunity in each area. Then we also forward look as well. So we look at inventory which may be coming into the market, and based on these numbers, we make decisions about where the opportunity lies. It's not just a case of, we'll stick him in here and we need one more here. Maybe in the early days that was the case. But if I was to say to you, we in the secondary market have got around 2.5 to 3% of total market, that doesn't sound a lot, but obviously we're in a very fragmented market. So for me, I'm licking my lips thinking, brilliant, how can I get to 5? How can I get to 7%? And there's a pathway. I know how to do it. I know it won't be overnight, and I think market dynamics will also contribute that into the years to come as well.
Well, by taking a bigger share of the market, as usually it means you need to grow in the number of agents. Yeah. And by the way, there is a big trend right now in the real estate markets, like in the US and in Singapore, the trend of consolidation, where in Singapore, for example, 5 companies control 85% of the agents. Before it was very fragmented, similar to Dubai. And in US, 5 top companies control 60% of their agents on the market. Do you see the same trend happening here in Dubai?
Actually, anecdotally, there's been 2 companies that I can tell you where there's been shifts in ownership or businesses have merged. So there's already little early signs of something happening in the marketplace. We have managed to secure 2 9-digit real estate revenue agents per year from other firms that are joining our business on lower commission structure. So we're talking 10 million plus dirham generating agents per year, joining our business on lower commission structure because they probably see value in our platform and what we can do for them. So will there be consolidation? I would bet my life on it will be consolidation. I think the market and how the conditions in the market will contribute towards that. I think anyone at the minute can set up a business, and you can make some money from it. But when things get a little bit tough and you realise, actually, I've got to work for my money, then you might see a consolidation. You might see these one-man bands going into sit under a bigger banner, and I guess run for cover. That makes sense. Run for cover, run for shelter. When there's problems going on, people look for somewhere to hide.
I think overall for the market, it's consolidation. It can be good.
Yeah, sure.
And there's usually agents are joining the companies with the platform that is around it, and for the companies it's also easier to negotiate with the classifieds.
Yes, very much so.
Regarding the fees. And
I think people need to drop the ego though about, look, if some people want to run their own business, and I admire that, and if people want to go on and do that from our business, absolutely fine. We're proud that we've allowed people to do a part of that, but ultimately it's how much money you earn. This is why you're in this real estate job. So it doesn't matter if you're sitting in your own business or under a banner of Allsopp and Allsopp. If we can help you make more money than what you are on your own, that's the only thing that matters. So the ego, just in general, doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, sometimes somebody needs to play this game, and the ego open the company, realize it doesn't work, you're making not so much money as you were as an agent, and then...
Listen, running a business, let me tell you now, is not as easy, and as, you're not sitting on the sofa, your feet up all day and, letting everyone else do the work. It's more money, more stress, they say. So,
I don't work as an agent already for a little bit more than a year.
Yeah.
And now I have a chance to speak with the owners of the real estate companies, with the developers, with agents as before. And I realized that the most difficult position is for the real estate owner. Such high risk, such low margin, and a lot of stress.
Yes, agreed.
So it's a tough path to choose. Carl, there are thousands of agents that went through Allsopp and Allsopp. In the initial stage when the company sees the candidate, is it possible to spot a top performer?
I think recruitment is the biggest Rubik's Cube in the world. It's very difficult to say this person is going to do really well. You can profile someone. So I used to do all the recruitment many years ago, and a lot of our top earners that I hired are still here in the business. there are trends and patterns that you can look for. So, do they have interest in sports? So are they competitive? Do they show track record from their previous positions of moving, meaning do they give up very easily? Or is there an explanation of why they move very quickly? It might be promotions, whatever it might be. The firms that they've worked in, are they solid firms? Are they independents where they get a little bit more freedom? So there are loads of things that kind of build up this jigsaw piece of this perfect person. But if I look on a piece of paper, which I have many times, and thought, you are absolutely amazing, stick them in this pressure pot of Dubai where you're not earning a salary, you're away from mum and dad because maybe it's the first time you've lived away from home, you haven't done a deal in 4 months. There's no way you can interview someone to see how they can deal with that pressure. And the people that can suffer the most, which I've said before, are the ones that probably end up succeeding and lasting the longest. So suffering is a huge part, unfortunately, a part doing starting out in real estate. And the first year is tough. The first year is tough. If you can break even in your first year, which I'm being cautious there. If you can break even your first year, amazing. But years 2, 3, 4, 5, lucrative. There's no jigsaw piece. No one sitting in front of you right now can tell you, I know everything about how hiring the right person. They can't, because they don't know how that person, when they hire them, can handle difficult situations, which there are many when you move to a new country and a new job.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you have some top agents, and I have a question regarding Darren. Darren is also a legend on the market already. Yeah, he's dominating a specific area.
Yeah.
Now he's in the private office. We can touch it like what you guys are doing with the private office. What do you think? What makes Darren so good on a consistent basis?
Being consistent. I know it's terrible to say, but so Darren, I hired Darren personally myself, and Darren is, well, if you get to meet him, he lives in Jumeirah Gulf States and he works in Jumeirah Gulf States, and he's not a salesman. He is a salesman, if that makes sense, but he'll come over and have a conversation, and let's say you're a client, he'll say, hey bud, how are you? Just come sit next to you and just make you feel so at ease, and he's not trying and he's not selling to you. But what he also do is a client bought off him recently, and he hadn't heard from this particular client for 17 months. He was keeping him updated of market reports and what was going on. The client wanted that, but the client was blue ticking him, kind of ignoring his messages. But Darren persisted. Hi, this is happening. That client then contacted Darren one day, say, hi Darren, I'm ready. I've seen you be keeping me updated. Let's go view it. He's ended up buying. So Darren also has a long view as well. It's not just a case of, these people want to buy today, I'm going to spend my time with them. He also allocates time during his week to make sure he's keeping the clients that might buy in the future warmed up. And it's sheer tenacity. So Saturday evening, just gone, we've got an office in Jumeirah Gulf States, and I've gone to there's a shop there, Jant. Goes into the shop. He's in the office at 9 o'clock. Bear in mind, this guy's a partner in our business, earns ridiculous amounts of money. He's in the office at 9 p.m. on a Saturday evening on the phone to clients on his computer. How many agents, honestly, 11, 12, 13 years in, are doing that? Probably not many. So his work ethic is insane. His wife barely sees him, even now. But he's just one of these people where there's an analogy saying hunters and farmers. You got a hunter and you have a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
A hunter is someone that will kill what they see. A farmer is someone that will constantly sow seeds and nurture it, and everything will come for years and years to come. He is a epitome of a farmer. He's brilliant at nurturing relationships over long term, and he doesn't have to fight around for that lead today or next week because people trust him. This business is about trust, right? People don't buy off someone they don't trust. Darren demonstrates trust through keeping people updated of what is actually happening in the marketplace, things he sold, and just being personable. I'm on so many databases and get so many cold calls, and I'm being sold to. It's just like there's no personality for Darren. He just takes away all the sales bullshit, excuse my French, but takes away all of it and just makes it a conversation.
Incredible. And I saw his results in Q1, more than 500 million in sales.
Honestly,
insane.
He has done nearly as much as he's done all of last year, nearly. And not like one big deal. Is the volume of deals he does are insane as well. Obviously,
Yeah, he has a big market share for Jamaica.
yeah, 52% at last count. Obviously, it changes month to month, right? But last count was 52% of villa sales.
Yeah. Now, from the management point of view, you have this incredible agent, that closing that much, and I know that Darren runs also the office, Jamaica office, state office, So you tell him, hey, agent, now become a manager over there. And as usually, once you become a manager, you get other responsibilities, you have other agents, and your sales are dropping down. So do you still believe that a top performing agent should be converted to the manager at some point?
So you call it manager, I call it leader. Okay. So a manager is someone that has a large team and they'll manage on results and key performance indicators and how many calls you're making, how many notes you're putting on the system, all of the things you do to try and measure success. The smaller teams are actually leading by example. So we don't have to do a traditional manager's role where they're saying, you've got to do this and you've got to do this and you've got to do this. You can listen to Darren and be around Darren. And it's so enthusiastic that people learn. And he kind of, they say rising tide lifts all. So the tide lifts all the boats. When you have a really good leader around 8 or 9 people, it lifts every single person around him. So Darren, I told Darren in the early days about managing time, because you're time poor when you're a real estate agent, but also when you're a manager as well. So I say, you manage in the morning between 9 and 10, all your key duties you need to do to make sure you get people organised for the day and people communicated. You manage in the morning and you manage in the evening. And I say you manage by inspection, not expectation. So you inspect what people have done and not expect. You expect people to do something, they're probably going to disappoint you. Whereas if you set them tasks and things you want them to do today, guys, if we do this, this, and this today, let's get these boxes off and then inspect it. How did you get on with doing this at the end of the day? People will tend to be more accountable to doing results. So I say to them, that 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning, key to getting people organised. That 5 till 6, following up, making sure people have done what they need to do. The rest of your day, be an agent.
Got it. Tell us more about your new division, which is private office department.
Yeah.
Why you guys decided to open it? Why you decided to separate it from not separate it, it's part of the company, but still.
I think that's market conditions led. We are in a market where prices have increased significantly. The type of people buying are a little bit more discerning, a little bit more private, shall we say, a little bit, they want to be dealing with agents to know what they're talking about. They want a little bit more white glove service. They want to be looked after. We have some incredible agents that wanted to grow in the business, and we felt, okay, well, there's an opportunity here for us to I guess, connect sellers at certain price ranges with buyers and give them a bit of a different treatment and a bit of a different service. And that doesn't mean they're treated any better, but I also feel it's a listing tool opportunity as well. You know, if you're coming as Allsopp and Allsopp, but actually no, Allsopp and Allsopp private office, it's a sexiness. It's like first class, you know, and it's worked really, really well. Some tremendous numbers already, and I think we're at only 6 or 7 agents, and that number should be growing to 10 by Q3, which is good. And it's growing organically. We don't want this Allsopp and Allsopp, loads of agents. It needs to grow at a pace where we can make sure people are making money, but also we can reinvest into the business and make sure it's competing with global brands, real estate brands.
Like, definitely you guys are focusing more on their secondary market, yeah?
Yes.
What about the primary? Like, how big of the total volume?
20% of our business
is off-plan,
yes,
which is quite a lot.
It's a lot, but you compare it to the market where it's 60-70%. I mean, cards on table, we attempted several times in our 17 years in business and didn't really get much luck, if I'm honest with you. And then 4 or 5 years ago, we hired a chap called Finton Flannelly. Finton come from another real estate company. I actually bought something off Finton prior to him joining us. And there was something about him where I thought, I really like you. Not just as he was great on camera, but Finton's not a typical salesperson. He's an accountant by trade. And I like, when I'm buying, I don't want, you've got to buy this because it's great and the brochure and all this sort of stuff. I like numbers. So when Finton presented me this, opportunity to buy something in Ray Ranches 3, which I've done very well out of, the numbers made sense. He's joined us 4 years ago. We've kind of had different cycles of figuring out what's going to work for us. Do we try, if it's nationality based, is it previous real estate companies based? And actually what has worked is doing things Allsopp and Allsopp way. And it's took things a little bit longer to get where we need to get to, but month on month this year, we've had some unbelievable results, and he is 80% of the way of 2024's result already.
Incredible.
Yeah, but end of April was, by the way.
So what is this Allsopp and Allsopp way for the off plan?
It's just being relentless, just making sure because we register so many clients per week. A client in general doesn't know what they want. They don't.
Yeah.
So for us, it's making sure because we have such a strong base with secondary. You come into our off-plan team, if I'm being honest with you, you don't have to try very hard, because you have a printing machine of clients from our secondary team that are listing every single day. So these listings are landlords or sellers that will probably have money or have shown interest in investing before. We have a property management department that has thousands of properties, again, opportunities for them to get into landlords. So there's so much there that outside of whatever you're doing with your social media and the leads we generate from portals, the ecosystem is insane. It's insane. And for us, it's just being relentless, contacting people. Try not to be the typical buy this and you'll make 20% in 4 months. That doesn't work for me. It's making sure that you're only focusing on projects that we feel our investors are going to make money on. And just giving good advice. There's so much rubbish out there where I see these videos, buy it and flip it in 3 months. I'm thinking, no, that's rubbish. It's unlikely it's going to happen. So good education, constant education. We've had meetings this morning about different things, developers coming in. So just making sure we're sharing information, we're communicating best practices. The teams are speaking to each other. The mortgage teams are speaking to our off-plan team. So, is there money tied up somewhere else where we can help them get money out to then go and buy on again? There's so much that we can do, and we're just scratching the surface, which is exciting. What
would you say is the difference between a top performing agent in the off-plan market and a secondary, like primary and secondary?
It's a really good question, because there are some similarities, but also a lot of, I think with an off-plan agent, you have to be so reactive, not in a negative way, but let's say there's a launch happening, or you have to go and be at a developer's office, you have to be there. I think social media is very important in off-plan. Whereas with secondary sales, you're nurturing a little bit more. It takes a little bit longer to get somewhere. You do have to do the same in off-plan also, but it might be 5 months of doing viewings on a property and having conversations with an owner until you get it sold, and then it going through, which might take another 3 months. You might be 8 months with a client. Reality is in off-plan is you might have 3 or 4 weeks of conversations, meetings, updates. They then buy somewhere. You might keep them updated throughout the transaction. So I just think being a little bit more patient. And I think with both, you just need to accept that rejection is going to happen and don't let it affect you too much. I mean, there's lots of off-plan agents I can't really in Dubai, and there's lots of really good ones. So I think they could probably tell me what works for them. But for secondary, it's all about process. Following the process. We have certain things that we ask you to do. If you follow A, B, and C, you'll get X. So it's just making sure that if you follow the process, you're consistent, good things come.
And would you say it's better for the secondary market agent to focus more on the sellers or buyers?
Listen, sellers control everything. If you have an amazing listing, ideally exclusive, guess what? You're going to get inquiries from buyers, but also buyers from brokers as well. So I think if you have really good listings, you're keeping your seller up to date. He trusts you. You're able to get a fee from him also. You're justifying your fee. I think sellers really are the most important in any market, up or down market. I think sellers, buyers are plenty, especially in this market. We can have buyers for most things, but making sure you're having a really good seller, a good relationship, because having a good relationship with your seller can determine whether you get a deal closed or not as well. So I think sellers control. Having a good listing agent is very important.
Can you tell us a little bit more about seller's control? Like, what are some of the best practices to work with the sellers?
Let me speak from my experience. So if I'm a seller, for me, I don't want just... Okay, so for also, what's important to me is if you are listed with us, my duty to you is, if I have 5 viewings over the course of 2 weeks, my duty to you is to tell you what the client thought of it. Because you've gone out your way as a seller to have the doors opened, or at least let me into your home whilst you're there. So feedback is very important. Then informing the client of what's happening in the area. So have other properties sold that are neighbouring recently. Again, educating their mind. Making sure you're going out to see them on a regular basis. Re-photograph the property if it hasn't sold. Sometimes reframing the property, having different photographs can stimulate interest. Let them know what you do along the process. You know, I see so many times, and I can experience it from the other side, where people will only call you if they have an offer. Wild. How can I, if you give me a low offer, let's say it's $1 million dirhams, my asking price is 1.5. How can I trust you that is a good offer if I only spoke to you at the listing stage, and then 3 months later offer stage? Because we've got no relationship. So I think most of the work should be done from listing to when an offer is actually made. And actually, when you get to the point of having an offer, if it is a lower offer and you genuinely believe it's something they should consider whilst backing it up with evidence, it's very easy to have that owner listen to you and say, yes, Carl, let's do it, because I trust you. You've given me all the information, and I know you've tried really, really hard throughout the whole process to get this property sold. So communication is massive, I think, and there's loads of little things you can do.
So how often an agent should contact the seller in case if there is a listing? Let's say the market, the price is slightly above the market price.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week. Even if it's just a WhatsApp to say, just to let you know, it's on the market. I'm doing this. I haven't had any viewings. This is the performance we've had so far on our back end in terms of click-through rates, whatever. We don't need to do anything at this stage. However, over the next few weeks, we'll monitor it, see what's going on, and we can react accordingly. And then obviously them conversations happen over the course of week 2, week 3. That is a very sensible conversation to be had. Say, look, we're doing X, Y, Z. We've had 4 viewings. All have cited that perhaps it's a little bit too much money, or it needs a little bit of work doing to it. If there's a common pattern with low click-through rates, negative viewing feedback makes the client, then we listen to the market. And the market basically says that it's perhaps too much money. We react accordingly. We revise price. We re-photograph the property. We try and make sure there's products on the property for portals, and the process carries on from there. So I think if someone knows you're doing your absolute level best and you're working for them, then I think they'll give you time and they'll give you patience and stick with you.
I have another question regarding recruitment. It looks like you are recruiting a lot of guys who are new to the market, and you're doing recruitment in UK.
Yep.
Is there a reason behind like this? You don't want people with the experience?
Bad habits.
Bad habits.
Bad habits. I think the market is full of terrible agents. So if I could tell you some of the calls, so I own several floors in Motor City. I know one of your tenants. Yes, you know one of your tenants. Yeah, he's a good tenant, isn't he? So I had a call yesterday, just to give you an example of the agencies market, saying, Mr. Carl, hi, your apartment in Control Tower, is it available for buy and rent? I'm just sitting there thinking, Control Tower, that's my office. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like this guy's ringing me about a residential apartment, but actually it's actually an office floor. So in general, if you're a good agent, you've been here let's say your company's not giving you support, or you feel like a big brand makes a big difference, which by the way, when someone calls up and Allsopp, they know who we are, makes a big difference to someone answering the phone or not. If someone's in the marketplace, we are happy to have a conversation. There are lots of stories very, very recently as well. We've took agents that have been in the business 15 years that have now joined us recently. I think hiring from the UK or from other parts of the world, whether it's US or Australia, it allows us to mold down the way we think exactly an agent should behave and perform and have good habits from the very, very start. And for us, works very well. Not everyone works out, but that all comes back to how people handle the pressure pot of Dubai. I honestly believe when you first join real estate in Dubai, we are the best place for any real estate broker to start their career, make sure they're nurtured, they're trained, they know exactly what needs to be done. They're working around some incredible people, which ultimately helps them raise their game. And I actually see a lot of other companies that sometimes take our staff, and it's like they've won a trophy. They feel like hiring an Allsopp member of staff is going to solve their problems. It won't. They are one person, and they are probably very, very good. But this big machine that we have, it works, and we can keep consistently making sure we find our next superstar, and we do on a regular basis.
One of the statistics that you told me is regarding your average deal per company by having so many agents, and I was really impressed with that number. Can you please repeat it?
100 and...
Average ticket size of the deal.
Oh, average ticket size, 3.8 million, I want to say, or 4.3? One of the two. 3.8 or 4.3, because that was last year's figures, maybe. 3.8 million per deal.
Incredible number. I was expecting it to be lower. I believe the average as per the Dubai department is around 1.8.
Yeah, but you've got to add some context that you've got to look at it. So we done a deal last month for 140 million. Albarari, yeah. So the deal with Albarari, 140 million. We've done multiple Palm Jumeirah units recently. So each community has its own ticket size. For example, Talal Gaff, there's 7 guys in there. Average sale might be 7 million. But you then look at JVC, and their average sale might be 1.6.
This is what my question. Do you have a team that is working in JVC, in Arjan, in other areas with the low ticket?
Yes, yes.
You do?
I think these areas and Dubai Marina, the volume areas are the best areas to learn the job the most. The problem is, in general, is when people come to country, they see selling sunsets, and they want these big sexy villas, and they come to JVC, and JVC is great, by the way, but this is not what I expected it to be. But it's the easiest way to make money because it's a thriving area, the valleys are pretty decent, you can rent it very, very easily, and you can learn the job very quickly. You can do 3, 4, 5 deals in a month in JVC quite comfortably, and probably in 6 months' time be better positioned than someone's been doing the job a year or 18 months, because you've had so many learning experiences of doing deals and losing deals as well. So same goes to Dubai Marina. Dubai Marina, a volume area, it's brilliant. And where you start out is perhaps not where you finish in terms of the area you like working on, but it's a really good area for anyone to start out.
I see. How do you think the technology will impact our industry? Will we still have that many agents in the upcoming years, considering that AI is coming here?
I had hoped 17 years in that technology, specifically PropTech or anything related to PropTech, would be further forward than it is today. I can't tell you loads of things that have actually happened where it's significantly moved the bar. AI is one of the most incredible things that I've seen in my lifetime, and some of the things that I like. I'm a geek. I like playing around with stuff and figuring out how things work and how to automate things. But to get something to change the marketplace or to reduce the number of agencies, you need to have a lot of people using something. Sales agents, historically, they don't have a lot of time. For them to use AI, I'd imagine probably a lot don't, or don't even know what it is. There are certain things in the job which are not enjoyable, being a salesperson. I truly believe the admin support side of the job, the things that, excuse me, don't make a big difference, could go away in a few years, whether it's listing management or whatever it might be. But I think agents are here to stay for the long term.
So you don't think that somebody will, I'm asking myself, a few years ago I was on vacation in Turkey, and back then there was a property boom. Right now it's collapsed badly. The government changed some rules, and it ended up very bad. And I'm thinking that if the ticket size is not that big, let's say if there is some purchase that you can do for $250,000 or something like that, right now, maybe I would really consider the top 3 positions that AI is giving me, and I think that customers, investors will start using it more and more often. That will definitely affect real estate agents. So guys like Darren will stay in the game, that's for sure, and most probably he will quadruple his income because of AI. So you don't see that it will affect the agents that much.
If anything, it could enhance their job. It could make them more money. It could make them more efficient. It might take another generation of agents to come through, not the ones that exist in the market now, to really kind of get buy-in to help them do this job. Someone that's in their 50s, I'm not stereotyping, but will they use AI? Probably not. I'm not sure. So,
yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing 20, 25-year-olds come into the marketplace where they've grown up with this or they know this.
I just signed up, by the way, my mom to the AI course.
Really? Wow, incredible.
There's an interesting course I just joined it myself, and the course is saying like, hey, all of us hear about all these AI tools, but nobody's using it. So they put you in the group and they give you a challenge. Like, okay, this week we are starting this option. So you need to do you need to cut the videos. You need to do to take the summary of the video of YouTube by dropping the YouTube link. So it gives you a task, and if you don't do the task, you're out of the group.
Yeah.
So I really like it. I thought, I need to bring my mom here also, so she can stay up to date on it. There is another technology that is that I will believe will challenge our industry, but for the good. It's just that we as agents, we are covering a lot of things that needs to be done. And as you said, quite a lot of time we dedicate to the admin work. And I believe tokenization can really solve it. Like, a lot of people are excited about tokenization because like tokens are coming, everybody can buy it. But I don't think that everybody needs to buy one square foot of real estate. Like, somebody saying that like any people who are working on the construction site can purchase. Why would you? Yeah.
I'm skeptical of tokenization of real estate. I think there'll be a place for it. I think there's a very similar thing with stake properties and then tokenizing something. I think blockchain or crypto will help the process of buying.
Yeah.
As opposed to the buying of real estate. I may be wrong, but I'm just concerned about so many people being involved in the transaction and kind of not being able to exit the property or make decisions based on what's required, whether it's
But I believe it will make the process very straightforward. So you're the buyer right now. You're interested to buy something. First, okay, let's take my example in Turkey. Yeah, I need to study the law, to go through the numbers. I need to speak with several agents, ask them how the process is done and everything. But when I know that the government is regulating something and I can buy by the click of the button, not the 1 square feet, but the entire property through this, it really makes the process way easier. And Dubai recently issued the first certificate. Yeah. I believe it's a very good news for our industry. So we don't need to go to the trustee office anymore.
And that was something that actually happened, where the certificate was issued. What, same day, following days? Like, how quick is it?
Oh, we are yet to find out.
This is what I'm interested in.
Find out about it, but I believe it will be very beneficial for.
If the technology is reliable and it is that quick, wow! I mean, it'll be a game changer of the marketplace. I mean, DLD in general have not been the best of allowing technology so they definitely need partners to help them to allow things to happen. I'm interested. Look, I mean, I'm curious. How many people will use it? How many people are doing it? Crypto in general is getting by the week more talked about. So
I would not associate it with the crypto.
No, but it's the same sphere, right? It's people. It's the technology, and the process of transacting is very similar.
Mm-hmm. Carl, what do you think our market is missing currently?
I hate the part of the transaction where secondary sale is agreed and it takes 3 or 4 months to complete the transaction. There are so many different parts, whether it's a bank or a developer's office, having to get an NOC is bizarre. It should be all done online. I think the whole transaction, if I was to have my way now and I worked in government, I would say, right, how can we get this average transaction time where 2 people are involved in a mortgage from 90 days down to 15. How can we do that? That's my objective. So I think whether it's a conveyancing law or system, tokenizing the blockchain of the after sale, that's a big thing. I still think the off-plan, speaking from experience and buying, how is an SPA taking 2 or 3 or 4 months
Doesn't make sense,
after
yeah.
your reserve? It's bizarre. So I think I always look at things from a process perspective. I love process. And I think process can be improved dramatically by blockchain, by AI, and we don't have to come up with these weird and wacky. Sometimes the best ideas are not the sexiest. They can make the biggest difference. And I think, if you look at it from how can we decrease transaction time, how can we decrease the time where someone gets a genuine SPA from the point of saying, yes, I want the reservation. They're the things that I think we all need to be focused on at the moment, because I think when there's a big gap between transaction not being completed is where things can go wrong.
Oh, yeah. And when it's keep on delaying, postponed, etc., etc. We are right now, we are filming this video at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
Summer is usually a period that is considered like a slow period. What would be your advice to the agents to have some of the best performing summer in their careers?
Seasonality is a mentality. Okay, so I look at summer as an opportunity and always have done, because 40% of the agents will probably leave town for some period of time and go on holiday. If 40% of the agents have been in town, not every single investor goes away for the whole month. So that means there's less people to answer the phones if they're calling up about an inquiry. So I think it's a great time for people to do deals, learn on the job. Yes, it's going to be naturally quieter, but if you accept that in your own mind, it's going to be quieter, it's somewhere people are away, guess what? You will do no deals. So I think your mentality going into the month is saying, going into June, July is thinking, great, lots of people away. The people that are here, the people that are out viewing properties in 50-degree heat, they're serious. These are not tie kickers. So, that's the way I would frame things. And typically, we've always done pretty well during the summer months, but as we all know, Q4 is humongous for all of us when people come back from the summer. So I just think it's making sure minds are focused and actually looking at the summer as an opportunity rather than thinking, oh, it's quiet and I'm not going to do any business.
Thank you. And what do you think about the market conditions in their upcoming year? What do you expect from it?
So Lewis, my business partner, done a radio interview this morning, which was rather controversial, on the Fitch news.
I don't know where it come up, even Fitch. I didn't heard about them before.
Yeah, they're basically a grade. They rate different assets in the US. They're big. Anyway, long story short, they have clearly been misinterpreted or misquoted, because I don't believe anyone would honestly quote the whole Dubai market is going down 15%. Knowing that 70,000, let's call it, properties may get handed over this year. I don't believe that number quoted will reach there. Again, I'm speaking from experience of buying off-plan property. There's only one developer that's delivered on time. One of 9 different developers have bought off. So I think whatever's quoted and what gets handed over is a very different story. I think we're in a marketplace at the moment where people still want to be a part of Dubai. There's so much going on around the world. There's so many people coming in here. There's so much bad news around in Europe and US. It's driving people here. People are not scared of these stories, because they know if you buy real estate, you should always buy real estate with a long-term view, which is why I don't like these things going on social media about these agents saying you can buy it and flip it in weeks and months. Don't go into anything thinking I'm going to buy it and make money. If the opportunity arises, amazing. I think the marketplace in the years to come, let's call it 27, 28, yes, there will be a period of softening, or maybe stabilization, because there is that much coming to the marketplace. But you can't look at Dubai as, the prices are going down. How many villa townhouses are going to be handed over in the next 2 years? Not that many. And guess what? A lot of the people moving here 2 years ago, their migration typically happens to, right, we'll start an apartment, figure Dubai out, say I want to be. Maybe kids come along, they get a little bit more serious, they meet a partner, they end up moving to villas. So there's not enough still in the pipeline, villa townhouses or even entry-level price properties that are coming in that are affordable to cater for the people moving into country. So for the next 12, 18 months, I'm confident in Dubai in certain pockets. There's going to be oversupply in some communities where there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 units being handed over the next 12 months. I think that's anywhere in the world. You can't look at LA as LA is all the. You look at the suburbs and see which they have their own little microclimates.
Yeah. And Carl, my last question: is there any figure that inspires you in terms of like the way how he do business, and maybe you get some motivation from there?
My dad. I know. I probably you may want to frame it as in real estate, but my dad's, he's in 1996 put his company on the stock market in the UK. In 1996, floated it for many millions of pounds, and he was very, very successful, super positive person. He's always been a mentor of mine. Look, me and Lewis learn a lot off each other. There's certain things that he comes out with and says and does, and I think, I like that way of thinking, like framing. And look, if you look at the industry, some loads of great companies and individuals. I'm really inspired about what you, Vitaly, doing it. Really, I really love anyone attempting to make a really change in the market in a marketplace which is quite legacy. Then you're trying to make a difference. So, is there anyone in the industry? No, I think there's a lot of great people here. I don't really have a lot to do with a lot of the real estate owners, and me and Lewis tend to keep ourselves to ourselves. But I respect anyone that does well in business, anyone, because it's so hard. And from the sidelines, I'll be rooting for you and Vitaly, and anything we can do to kind of get you where you need to be, mate. I'll be shouting your name.
Thank you so much, Carl, and thank you for coming to our podcast. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Woo! Cheers, buddy. Wow, I'm hot, by the way. I am hot. Well, I need to get off to a meeting.